Welcome again to another Discover Trempealeau County show. I think we have a very interesting show today. We're actually got across the county line just a little bit, but we're going to be talking to Dave Fredrickson and his wife Teresa, and they're going to be talking about the work they're doing here with deer, and they have outfitters, Dave Fredrickson Outfitters. We want to talk a little about that. We want to talk a little about the great deer that are in this part of the country, including Trempealeau County. And so with that, I guess we'll just kind of get started. Dave, what is an outfitter? By the way, I think I should say that we're sitting in the what do you call this, a lodge?
The cabin.
Lodge or cabin here on the Dave and Teresa Fredrickson farm. Well, what's the definition? I think a lot of people don't know outfitters. That's kind of a new term, at least to me.
Yeah. As an outfitter, what we do is we bring in hunters from other areas of the country that are interested in pursuing whitetails here in Buffalo or Trempealeau County. We put up tree stands for them, we do the scouting for them, and we cook for them, and we basically provide a service.
Teresa, what do you do when you have hunters that come in?
I mostly do the cooking and the cleaning and picking up after everybody, and just supplying whatever they need at the store or anything else they need in the cabin.
Men don't make a mess, do they?
Not at all.
Well, why don't you introduce your children?
This is Jerry. She's 4, and Hunter. Look this way, Hunter. And he's 5.
I know that I saw some of the pictures you've been showing us, and you're also a hunter as well as Dave. How about the kids? Are they? He's named Hunter, so he must be a hunter.
They're both. They're not into hunting quite yet, but they do go out in the woods with us and look for the deer after we shoot them, and they do a little bit of archery shooting. So they're getting slowly involved in it.
So Dave, let me ask you: when these people come in now, they come in to hunt deer, and you built this cabin. You designed it and built it. It's a real nice cabin that you have here. Let me ask you where these people come from. Do they come from this area, or do they come from out of state, or is it a little from everywhere?
It's a little bit from everywhere. I have had Wisconsin hunters, Minnesota hunters, Baltimore, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York, Arizona, Texas. I get a lot of different people calling and checking us out on our website. And that's the way we do most of our advertising, is through our website and through Bowhunter Magazine.
You might mention your website in case anybody wants to know, and maybe indicated it below the
Sure.
on the tape.
It's DaveFredrickson.com, and it's just www.DaveFredrickson.com.
Oh, so if they want to find out about your operation here, why they just find it on the internet then.
Yeah.
What is the best way? How do people really, other than the website, how do they know about you? You said somebody was here from Baltimore. How do they know about you?
Most of it is word of mouth. We, get hunters to come in and they have a good time. They enjoy what we have here to offer, and they just come back and they bring their friends. Otherwise, your search engines that you use for the internet will bring your name up, and that's about basically how we advertise. I've had some TV crews here also to do TV shows, so it's getting our name out. Well,
I do know that you have one magazine you showed us a little bit before we started, and it's called the Wisconsin
Outdoor News.
Outdoor News, and there's a picture right on the front of this magazine. How often does this magazine come out?
Every 2 weeks.
And the picture on the front is your nephew, I think you said, with a big white-tailed deer, and you took the picture, and it's on the front, and that's good advertising too.
Yep.
Now you do more than just you do some farming, and you're an electrician, and your wife works at Anderson Windows. So this outfitting is just during the deer season. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, it's from September through December.
Do you participate in, like, say, the bow hunting season as well as the gun hunting season?
Yes, we take a limited number of gun hunters, which is always starts the Saturday before Thanksgiving. Otherwise, most of our clients are bow hunters, and that's what we mainly cater to is the bow hunters.
Oh, I'm surprised. So you have a lot of interest in bow hunting then.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now you charge a certain amount for them to hunt. Now, what is included? Do they stay here at the lodge? Do they eat here at the lodge? Your wife said she cooked and so forth. So they provide the meals and the lodging and everything, and that's part of the total package, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's the lodging, which they stay in the cabin here. It's the meals. It's basically a service that we're providing. We do all the scouting for them, and we hang tree stands out in the woods for them, and we'll basically do whatever they want of us.
Mm-hmm. Now you have a farm, and you're doing some farming. You're raising some beef, I think, or steers, and so let me ask you. You know, I'm not a hunter, so these are kind of simple questions, I think. But how do you know where to put the deer stands? How do you know that? Do you know your farm here well enough so you know the areas where the deer are traveling, or?
Deer they're creatures of habit. Once they do a certain thing, they will continue to follow through and do it. Time in the timber will really teach people how to scout for animals. There's deer trails and there's pinch points or funnels that they use, and that's what we try to get our clients on. Basically, it's a lot of time. Time scouting, time just watching what's happening. And that's what we try to do. We try to get our clients in the good spots and good situations so they can harvest and have a good hunt.
So when you're doing the scouting, is this during the hunting season, or are you scouting before the hunting season?
Both. We scout year-round. Most of my scouting I like to do is late or early spring and late winter. We look for sheds, which we find some big sheds, and that's what we're looking for is the antlers that are casted from the whitetails. Mm-hmm. And then we get to see where the scrapes are, or and the rubs, and try to put all the pieces of the puzzle together and tracks and trails, and see where they come out of, and every year that changes because of logging, different agricultural crops, mass crops with your acorns, and just everything. You try to get all the pieces of the puzzle and take the best educated guess you can make, and put it together.
When the people come in, how long do they usually stay, the hunters, here at your lodge?
We provide 5-day archery hunts, or if they want to stay longer, that's fine. We'll accommodate. I only take 15 hunters, so I don't want to do this for this to be my living at all. But it helps supplement the farm, and when you're paying for the land, you have to do something.
Pretty expensive today, land.
Yeah, land is expensive, and seems like it goes up all the time.
Well, you say you have about 15, did you say, at one time? And what is your average? I mean, you got 15 people. About what percent would get a deer out of that 15? Do you have any idea, roughly speaking?
In 2003, we were 50% in mature animals that we harvested. Last year, we had a special season where we had to shoot an antlerless deer prior to a buck. And most guys, they come here, most gals, they come looking for the antlers, is what they come looking for. Buffalo County and Trempealeau County is blessed with the terrain and the habitat, good habitat and good genetics, so that, and we are getting better age structures so that the quality of the animals are increasing, are getting bigger. Mm-hmm. And that's what the people come here looking for.
Do you practice this, I think the quality management, is it? Or
quality deer management, yes. Mm-hmm. I have a minimum that we have that guys can shoot. Our hunters can shoot anything over 130 inches, which a 130-inch animal is a trophy anywhere in the country. And in this area, we just have more of them than anywhere else in the country.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you explain a little bit, because I've heard that term, quality deer management.
Quality deer management basically evolved in the 80s, and the main purpose of it is to shoot antlerless deer or does, keep the deer population intact, provide nutrition for the animals, which is your food plots and mineral supplements, and then letting the young bucks walk and not killing them before they have a chance to reach maturity.
Well, a couple of questions there. Food plots. What is it? Do you have food plots on your 500 acres that you own here? And how many do you have? And maybe what kind of things do you raise on the food plots?
Right. We have several food plots. I guess I have about 10 acres of food plots, not necessarily all on this farm, but other farms that I have. We plant several types of white clovers, yellow clover, alfalfa, rape, turnips. All these are highly digestible for the whitetails, and that's what we plant. We do plant some soybeans specifically for them, and corn. I'm trying to get away from the corn somewhat because it's fairly hard for a whitetail to digest corn. They like it, and it's more of an attractant than good nutrition for them.
Oh, excuse me. Well, do you, in the summertime, after you got these food plots planted, do you discover there are a lot of deer that are eating at the food plots? Do they like those food plots?
Yeah, they do. It takes a few years for them to get climated to that type of food, and not necessarily the alfalfa and the clovers, but to the rape, and it'll take them a few years to actually desire it. But once they desire it, they will actually eat the leaves off, and they will dig through it throughout the winter just to be able to eat it. Mm-hmm. It's a good nutritional value for them.
Now, these food plots are something you don't have to plant in the same place annually, do you? Or do you? No, don't they last a few years, like clover?
Yes, some of them are perennials. Some of them are, like the turnips. That's a perennial. It'll be gone the next year. And there's the clovers they'll come year after year. Mm-hmm. The row crops, obviously, you plant every year.
Now, you mentioned something about the maturity. You want the young bucks to reach maturity. That's part of this quality deer management. What is a mature deer?
Around here, a mature animal could be a 3.5-year-old animal or older. I like to see my hunters pass on the yearlings and the 2-year-olds. A lot of our 3-year-old animals, or 3.5-year-old animals, will have racks that are bigger than they've ever seen in their life. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them are. And they're chomping at the bit to harvest them animals.
Well, of course, you don't have any non-hunters that come here, I suppose, but how do hunters really identify a 3.5-year-old deer? How do you, if the antlers are real big, what clues are that they're over 3.5 years old?
A lot of it is looking at their body and their posture. A 1.5-year-old animal will act differently than a 2.5-year-old animal, and a 2.5-year-old animal will act differently than a 3.5. I watch my bulls and my cattle out here and I learn more from them and translate it to the whitetails, and it's amazing how they act the same. There's a different posture that they use. Mainly body size, we'll tell people. It's hard to say rack size or the antler size because a smaller rack on a small animal will look big. But a big rack on a big animal will actually look small.
Let me ask you, how do you train hunters that come in? How do you train them on? Do you have pictures or something that you show them, or do you give them a little program on what kind of deer they should be taking?
Yeah, we use pictures, photographs. We use the mounts that we have here. It's almost on the honor system, and most of the guys that come here are educated enough, or they know the whitetails enough to know that this animal's a shooter, this animal's not. Certain individuals, they've never seen animals this big, so they get pretty excited and they just shoot.
Well, why is it that this area, and I don't know much about anything about deer hunting, but I understand that this area, and I think I could say like, Buffalo County and Winona area, Trempealeau County, they're getting a big reputation for large deer and big large antlers. And why is it? We're in the unglaciated area. We got good soil. We got wind-blown silt loam soils. Good crops in the hills. But what are the factors, or is it this quality deer management that's making the difference? Do you have an answer for that? Why is this area getting a reputation for being outstanding deer hunting?
Actually, there's several answers to it, and it's all a combination to create it. First of all, because the glacier didn't come through here, we have the hills that Buffalo County and Trempealeau County are famous for. When you start putting row crops on land or on agricultural land, 7 years you deplete the vitamins and minerals. So it's kind of interesting, where do the vitamins and minerals come from? It comes from these hills. And the hills are what are needed because of the high calcium in the limestone and the various minerals in the soil. And them minerals and vitamins are washed off in these hills during the spring and in the, during our, when we get water, and they end up down in our agricultural land.
Well, the soil in this area is a very good soil. It's wind-blown, brought in by wind, silt loam. It's a deep, productive soil, and that contributes apparently to the deer harvesting and the deer growth. I don't know, in my lifetime, I was born and raised north of Oliva in Trempealeau County, but I remember I might have been in 8th grade or something like that. I saw the first deer on our farm. Now, I know the pioneers, when the pioneers moved into this area, there were deer. But then I think they left for a while because of all the farming and everything. But they haven't been around too long, have they? I mean, of course, I'm 71 years old, so I'm talking about 60 years ago or so I saw the first deer up there. But have they always been here, the deer, or have they moved in as the farming decreased?
Well, I guess I'm not an expert on that, but I know I think it was the 1950s, Buffalo County had its first deer season, or you could harvest a deer. Before then, I would say that the majority of it was just overkilling of the animals that basically depleted their numbers here. Mm-hmm. There was, in the 1800s, there was elk in the area, but as far as the deer, I don't think they really started moving into the area until seasons were established, and it limited the amount of animals you could harvest.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good answer, I think. Well, Dave, we're talking to Dave Fredrickson here, Dave Fredrickson Outfitters. He has people come in and hunt for a fee. They come in from a large area, and is it growing? How long have you been at the Outfitters? When did you start this? When did you build your cabin?
I built the cabin 3 years ago. I started doing this in 98, I believe, and it was very low scale. I just did it because I enjoyed it, and a few people would ask me, can I come hunting? Sure, I'd take people hunting. And from there, it grew into where I am at now. And I've had actual landowners contact me and ask me to, hey, I'd like to get involved with you and whatever they want, and I say, well, it's your land, we'll do it any way you want. And they've been all happy because, taxes are high and land values are high, and they're not coming down. Nothing's getting cheaper. So they've contacted me.
I think we might point out that you don't, you got around 500 acres, and you don't have a fence around that or anything like that. The deer travel between farms, I would imagine, to some. How big an area does a deer cover when they travel?
It depends on the personality of the animal. Some are pretty local. Some might travel 1,000 acres. Some might be a couple thousand or even more. It's basically the attitude of the animal and their personality themselves is a big determining factor on how far they roam.
Mm-hmm.
So
they do have kind of what they might consider home, a home area.
Yeah, they have a home area that they basically stay in and a lot of times they'll have a summer area and then a winter area and then even a breeding area. So they might have 3 different areas that they travel throughout a year.
Tell us about the antler growth on deer.
Antler growth basically starts in end of April, beginning of May, about the same time as when the does start having their fawns. And it starts out as just a bone that actually grows from on top of their head, from a pedicle is what they call it. And
you're talking about the velvet now?
The velvet, it actually is around the bone. And what the velvet does, it keeps the bone alive and growing. When they scratch or they knock some of their velvet off, that area may die. Or if they injure it or injure the velvet, the actual bone or the growth could temporarily stop for that year.
You mean it'd make less of an antler then?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So the deers grow new horns every year.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so how long does it take before they fall off and you get a full growth?
Well, today is end of February, and some of the bucks are still carrying their horns. They're starting to shed pretty regularly now, and a lot of them, probably half of them, have shed by now. This is a shed that we found a few years ago. That's a lot of bone. That's a lot of antler that they grow every year.
How do they really fall off? I thought that was part of the bone from their head.
It's when the testosterone in their blood starts to slow, like this time of year, it actually they'll cast their antlers because of lack of testosterone in their blood or in their body.
So do they immediately then, after they cast this antler, they immediately start growing another horn?
Not immediately. Some of them do, and most of them don't. They will start growing it probably the end of April, middle of April, in that time period, and then the velvet will be, the whole bone and everything will be covered in velvet, and in late August into September, they will start rubbing it, or it'll just cast and it takes about 24 hours for the velvet to actually fall off.
When a deer has an antler, and then he sheds his antler, does he get bigger antlers the next year?
Yes, normally. There is some limits, you could say, or some criteria that would cause him to create or get better or bigger horns. Mm-hmm. One thing is their age. As long as their age is not going downhill, or their body can support growing the antlers, they should grow in larger antlers every year. Mm-hmm. This particular buck, I harvested him in 2004. He's a very nice animal.
Last year.
Yes.
Last fall.
And I actually let him walk in 2003 on the same day.
How did you know that? It's the same one.
Because I got photographs of him, still shots that we use, cameras out in the woods that are triggered by either heat or motion.
Oh.
And I have several photographs of them. And
Well, this deer, maybe we could hold it kind of still for the camera as Wade will be filming. This must be some kind of a trophy, isn't it? I mean, this is big.
yeah,
And kind of explain, how they judge the. Do you charge by the amount? Do you charge so much for a deer, or do you charge for the deer plus the antler size or anything like that for the clients that you have that hunt on your property?
Well, I started hunting when I was 14, bow hunting, that is. I started gun hunting when I was 12. My dad took me. And since then, especially in the 90s, I started going on out-of-state hunts and looking at what other areas, other outfitters had to offer. And the biggest thing I noticed was Buffalo County and Trempealeau County had everything those counties had and them areas had, and even more of them. The trophy-size animals, they're all over the nation, most of the nation. Some of the criteria is the genetics, age, and nutrition. We have the genetics here. Quality deer management allows more age. Our age structure is getting better, Buffalo County is really known for quality deer management. And
who kind of promoted that? Did somebody promote that? Was it an organization of people like you, or was it from the university, or where did the promotion of this quality deer management come from? It sounds like it's done quite a job at developing quality deer.
It was started in either North Dakota, I believe, or North Carolina or South Carolina. That's where it actually originated out of. A lot of the research has been done in Texas and Tennessee and areas that study white-tailed deer. Quality deer management, they've always wanted to have a good age structure in their herd. And how do you do that is to shoot antlerless deer and to let the little bucks get older, or the young bucks to get older. It's a good system to have. Buffalo County, the people here and in Trempealeau County really took a hold and grasp of the quality deer management, and it's really paid off with a lot of animals that are coming out of the county that are trophy racks.
When you say a trophy deer, is that a trophy rack or is it the whole deer? Trophy.
Depends on who you ask.
Well, let's talk about this one here. This is a trophy rack, isn't it? Have you ever got a deer with a bigger rack than this?
Yes, I got one in the house that actually is bigger. This buck here scores 164, which it takes in...
Tell us about the scoring here.
Sure.
I've heard about it, but I know nothing about it.
Pope and Young and Wisconsin buck and bear. Now, this is archery kills only. Wisconsin buck and bear, they'll take muzzleloader and gun or rifle kills also. But Pope and Young is strictly archery. And a Pope and Young score is a minimum on a typical whitetail, which this would be considered typical, is 125 inches. And
no, that's 125 inches. What is that? What are you talking about?
It's the only measurement that they came up with several years ago that can represent all the horns or all the antlers. And what they do is they actually measure the amount of bone on the antler. They measure the length of the brow tine, which is the brow tine, and they measure both, or this brow tine and then this brow tine, and then they take the difference and they subtract that. And it goes on for each point that they have. And then they also measure the circumference around the main beam, and there's 4 circumference measurements, one here, 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 and here. And then they take the measurement of the inside spread, and they come...
which is what?
On this one here, he's right at 19.
Now, what are you measuring on the inside spread?
From the widest point between the 2 antlers, because each antler is independent of each other. And once they get all that, then that is your score, Pope and Young, and if you were using a gun or a weapon, it'd be Boone and Crockett.
Do you have any record numbers or record trophy deer that you've harvested?
Yeah, I have. I've been fortunate enough to kill my share. I got 10 that make Pope and Young, and my wife has 2. She's got bragging rights on the bear though. She's got a Pope and Young bear, and I do not. So.
Well, that's quite an honor. Talking with you here today, it sounds like you just don't go out shooting for you shoot for fun, but you've got a certain ethic you use for killing and harvesting deer. I mean, because you really love the animals. I can tell that talking with you. It isn't like going out with a AK-47, and just shooting animals. You let certain ones go so they can get bigger, and you respect the herd size and things like that. Where do you get that ethic?
I don't know. I think my father and mother probably instilled it in us when we were younger. It is a respect for the animal. Animals have its place on the farm as well in our food chain. So I do respect the animal, probably more than people realize. That hunters are the first conservationists. We pay for deer license. We pay. There's taxes on all of our sporting goods that we use. So the money that is generated that has helped research on white-tailed deer has actually come from the hunters. So I would say that's probably where the respect comes from. And I've just developed a more respect for them because I think they're just really neat.
And your deer, they actually maybe travel on some of. Do any of your hunters? Are they isolated to hunting on your 500 acres, or I think you touched on it that there are other farmers, adjoining farmers that also want to kind of get in on the on expanded hunting.
Yeah, I don't. I use this farm, but I use other farms also in our outfitting. With taxes being this high and land values, these landowners, they see that it's a resource, and it's just like timber, logs, anything that's a resource, and Buffalo County, Trempealeau County, they have a resource here. And some of these landowners, they just finally they got something that's worth something, and they want to capitalize a little bit on it.
Well, you mentioned that deer travel over 1,000 acres. Do you ever think of the idea that you might be feeding deer that are being hunted elsewhere?
Oh, absolutely. There's, I've had animals that I've passed up that neighbors have shot, and but that's their right. They got that right.
We're visiting with Dave Fredrickson, and he runs an outfitting service, I guess you'd call it. And we're in his cabin, his hunting cabin, with a lot of trophy deer around the walls and so forth. Even a turkey above us here on the left. But Dave, I don't think I asked you where you're located. Where are you located? Could you explain how far from Independence or?
We are 11 miles northeast of Wamedy, 13 miles west of Independence, 14 miles north of Arcadia.
And near Lookout.
Yep, I'm about 3 miles from Lookout. It's right off the Montana Ridge. The Trempealeau County line is 4 miles, so we're not far off Trempealeau County.
You're in Cooks Valley. Dave, why don't you show us how you got a lot of publicity. You're pretty well known. You and your wife Teresa are pretty well known. Maybe you could explain. This is I'm in a magazine article. Your wife's pictures in the front.
Yeah, this is a magazine that was that Lacrosse Footwear contacted us because they knew that we used their product, and they asked if we had any photographs for women boots line that they were coming out with. So we said sure, and we would help them. And this is the article or the advertisement for the boot that is for the serious.
And that's your wife, Teresa, on that article.
This is my wife, Teresa, with one of the whitetails that she has taken. And this is the Pope and Young newsletter that comes out 4 times a year, and it's a photograph that a friend of mine had taken, and it was quite the honor for us knowing the number of entries that Pope and Young has every quarter to actually get on the front cover of the edition.
How big an area does that cover? Is it Midwest, Wisconsin?
It's worldwide.
Oh, wow. Boy, that's really something to be on a cover of a worldwide magazine.
This is a manufacturer, a call manufacturer for white-tailed deer. It's called the Buffalo County Grunter, which it's a name that they chose to market their product, which is...
This is a collar, and they got the name of it is Buffalo County Grunter.
Right.
And where's this made?
I'm not sure. It's by Primos, and Jackson, Mississippi, I believe it comes out of.
Boy, oh boy, this means that you guys who are involved with these outfitters here in Buffalo County have created quite a reputation for the county when they have a collar named after Buffalo County.
Actually, the county probably created its own reputation, and the outfitters are just here to provide a service.
What do you call it? What kind of bow is this?
This is a bow made by Matthews Incorporated out of Sparta, Wisconsin. And they're a very good producer of some very nice bows.
Do they market them worldwide?
Yes, sir, they do. Yep. This particular bow is LX, which is one of their models. They have several models. And
what's the name of the company?
it's Matthews Incorporated.
Matthews.
Yep.
What's the Trophy Ridge? What is that?
Okay, Trophy Ridge is a site and stabilizer company that they sponsor. They basically sponsor us here at Dave Fredrickson Outfitting. And they produce the sites.
Why don't you explain that? That's really intriguing.
Mm-hmm. The site here, like I said, is made from Trophy Ridge, and what we use is a peep sight.
Right on the bow.
Yep, right on a string here, and you look through the peep sight, and then you have several pins here that you can line up for your yardage, because bows are relatively slow compared to a firearm, so you have to be able to judge the yardage.
You make an estimate of the yardage then, and you use, there's 1, 2, 3, 5 different
Yes, sir.
distances.
Right. This particular bow is set up for 25, 35, 40, 50, and 60 yards. They also make the rest, which the rest
Let's
is...
turn that a little sideways here so Wade can pick that up.
The rest is actually what holds or cradles the arrow, and this is called a drop-away rest, which when the arrow is released or the string is released, this will actually drop away, and the arrow will be off on its own.
It takes a lot of power to load one of those, don't it?
Minimum to hunt with in Wisconsin is 30 pounds. This particular bow is set up at 63 pounds. You can get bows that are as heavy as you want them, really, over 100 pounds if you want them that heavy.
You're talking about the power to pull this bow back, is that right?
Right, that is the weight or the pounds of force that it takes to draw this string back all the way.
How accurate is it? How far away can you get a deer?
It depends on who's shooting. I have shot deer over 50 yards, personally. I don't recommend that for most archers. However, there is the good archers that can really really shoot them accurately out to 50, 60, 70 yards. But you don't want to take an animal that far, obviously.
You were telling us, I don't know if this bow has it or not, or this, bow has it. Does anti-vibration devices that scare the deer, you were telling about it that earlier. Could you just explain briefly what that is and where they are?
Sure. The arrow absorbs energy, and when the bow or the bowstring is released, everything that the energy does not, or everything that the arrow's energy, let's start.
Okay.
Let's ask that question.
I'm sorry about that.
I gotta get
Let's see, what was my, no, what's the word?
Vibration.
Vibration.
Wait a second. I'm having a hard time getting it. Okay, go ahead.
Anti-vibration. There's several things that you can put on a bow to stop it from vibrating. And what the vibration is caused by is stored energy. The energy that the arrow does not absorb has to go somewhere, so it goes throughout the bow. And what they've done is they have created these rubber grommets with brass in them to take care of some of that energy. And there's several of them here. Limb Savers makes them for most of the bow manufacturers or bow companies to install on their bows. And even your stabilizer has them. With this Trophy Ridge product, you can adjust the stabilizer here, and this is all rubber in here to absorb that vibration.
And why do you want to absorb the vibration? Why is that?
It's for noise.
For the deer. Deer might hear it.
Yeah. A deer will react to any noise that they hear, and normally they go down towards the ground and push away. And what the noise, if the arrow is over 600 feet per second, they're still going to be able to out jump that arrow. And the fastest bows nowadays are 350 feet per second. So the quiet bow will actually harvest more deer than a fast bow.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, this has really been amazing. Deer got good ears, obviously.
Yep.
We never hear that as humans, I don't think. But is there anything, Dave, we're getting the signals from Wade here that we're near the end of the program. I know we just touched on the things that you know, but is there anything that we missed that you really want to talk about, as a final thing?
Well, the quality deer management end of it is letting the small bucks grow and get larger is really what has made this county and this area famous. There's a lot of people that are letting some very nice animals walk to actually get bigger. Myself and several of my hunters have let bucks that are Pope and Young candidates actually walk just so that they would be bigger the next year. That's what's made this county and this area and Trempealeau County famous, is probably the individuals letting the animals go.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dave, we really appreciate it. We know you're busy. You're an electrician, you're a farmer, you're a hunter, you got your outfitter, so it's been a real pleasure talking to you primarily about your outfitting business here in Buffalo County. And we thank you very much for your time and your knowledge. And it's been a good program, I think. I really enjoyed it, learned a lot. So with that, I guess to say thank you, and we'll see you soon on another Discover Trempealeau County show.